And the game award goes to, oh man, I have to pay a microtransaction to unlock. That's so stupid that this has to, hold on, I got this, guys, here we go. You know it's true, it's really stupid.
Turning players into payers.
All right, Joe, I'm really excited for Shadow of War. What do they got? Let's watch what they got to say.
What's up? Hey, good to see you all.
To questions about this one, so it's cool to be able to finally talk about it.
Let's go ahead and show you guys a bit of what the marketplace would look like. We got this guy above us right now, the headhunter.
Yes, yes. So he's in charge. He's basically the shopkeeper of the market.
Right. And first thing we want to do is we want to actually buy some of these loot chests that you guys can get. So we'll start with the silver loot chests. Now you guys can see that it costs 5 million.
I can't stand it.
Like that.
I can't stand when wonderful, awesome games are ruined with these types of announcements of bullshit.
Paid loot boxes are always, without exception, inherently predatory. They prey on our desire for things we want and our willingness to spend money in pursuit of it. The unbroken record of year-on-year progress has been arrested by the actions of major developers and publishers taking the games and licenses we love and injecting them full of predatory monetization schemes that not only fleece players, but destroy the underlying video games that house them. To be clear, publishers choosing to further monetize their games beyond the retail price tag is not inherently bad. While I like the idea of paying $60 and getting a complete experience, I also respect that publishers may have ambitions for their games that stretch beyond the release window, and the ongoing costs of development and server hosting require income to realize these ambitions. If they want to sell me new stuff in-game, like weapons or armor or cosmetics to fund that vision, then fair enough. But it's the way that publishers are choosing to monetize that is corrupting our industry. Overwatch could choose to sell you the skin you want at a fair price, but instead they hide them behind predatory gambling-based loot boxes, which are designed to get you to spend more than you would otherwise spend as you chase that one specific holiday skin that you really want. Star Wars Battlefront 2 could choose to build a functional progression system separate from its gambling-based loot boxes, but instead it combines the two of them to incentivize you to spend, and it cranks up the in-game grind towards progress to absurd levels to further incentivize or force you to spend money. The problem is increasingly endemic, and it's important to see and call it for what it is: predatory.
No longer content to make microtransactions a standard part of a premium $60 game experience, publishers had to go one step further in its emulation of the increasingly slimy mobile games market and decided to incorporate glorified gambling into a shocking number of mainstream releases. While the concept of the loot box or prize crate is hardly new, the explosion in recent months has been nothing short of staggering and disgusting, as publishers have begun using the same psychological tricks employed by casinos to, as Scientific Revenue would put it, turn players into payers.
Don't feel like grinding out those blueprint recipes for new weapons in Dead Space 3? Pay us a few extra bucks and you won't have to. You want access to this cool thing, or you want to skip ahead some of our grindy content that we made grindy to get your money? Well, you can do that too. Kind of begs the question, don't you think, that if these progression systems are bothersome enough that people are willing to pay real money to skip them, why are they in the game in the first place?
To have any chance of turning players into payers, game developers need to get their in-app purchases right.
Microtransactions. There's probably no other word that'll make gamers any more upset. Yet for some godforsaken reason, they just keep coming. Doesn't matter if it's some shitty pay-to-win mobile game or the hottest AAA title, microtransactions have infested everything.
Much blame has been aimed toward Valve for introducing them to mainstream games way back in 2010. Now, it's true that the concept has been around for nearly a decade, and Valve profited tremendously from randomized rewards in Team Fortress 2 and CSGO. But despite Valve raking it in for like 7 years, it's only now that loot boxes have taken hold, world.
The damage caused by these predatory practices in video games is increasingly structural. We used to earn our fighting game skins from completing in-game challenges, and now we pay for them. We used to be able to earn our armor shaders in Destiny, and they were infinitely reusable. Now we have to grind for them or earn them in loot boxes, and they're consumable to keep us grinding and spending. We used to purchase a rear spoiler to upgrade our handling in Need for Speed games, and now we purchase speed cards that... Man, I can't even finish that sentence.
Perfectly great games like Dead Space 3, a game that was supposed to be a treasure, was sunk to the bottom of the sea, now resting eternally as one of the biggest rip-offs in microtransaction history. I'm 100% against the inclusion of any microtransaction in any single-player game. It doesn't make your life more convenient if you want to bypass it, because it's making everyone else's less convenient who don't want to. Enemies made that much more bullet spongy to get you to spend $3 on a magazine-size upgrade for your favorite high-powered rifle. Difficulty made that much more harder to encourage you to buy a real money weapon. Or leveling mechanics made more labor-intensive to get you to purchase that EXP boost for $1.50. Imagine those enemies were designed properly, that difficulty balanced, and leveling made more fair. It's publishers taking advantage of directing developers to tweak these things to make our games more frustrating just to make them more money.
Look at this picture right here. Take a good long look. These are some of the most notable games to have microtransactions, and this isn't even scratching the surface. Do you know how long it took me to even put this picture together? What do you think when you hear that decrepit M word? You probably think of some copy-pasted, color-coded, random number generator box or pack full of shit that you won't care about when you stop playing the game. Microtransactions are meant to manipulate you, and I'm gonna show you how.
You almost got me.
To balance out the good stuff, developers implement the idea rule of the few, which basically means if there is less of something, it is more valuable. And to do this, they pack their RNG systems with tons of useless shit. It's the same thing with slot machines or the lottery. There's a very small chance you'll get 777s or win the million, but the chance is there, and that's all it takes to get you to buy into it. Blizzard expanded on the mind manipulation even further in Overwatch. I mean, it's really impressive. With all the different types of loot boxes only available for a short period of time, oh, you better buy some if you want to get that thing you want, because it's not available forever. This is called the scarcity scam, and it's meant to put people on the spot, forcing them to make a decision or else miss out on what's being offered. It's a sort of don't think about it, just buy it type of marketing ploy.
But if you call now, within the next 20 minutes, because we can't do this all day, we'll give you a second set absolutely free.
But Blizzard went even further. They wanted to make opening loot boxes an event. That's why the controller vibrates, the heroic music plays, and it's all shiny. That's why it's color-coded, because that split second those tokens fly in the air, you're wondering what you got. It's a carefully crafted system made to exploit the addictive tendencies in people.
Publishers took the idea of microtransactions, combined them with the idea of chance, put that concoction into a box, and then stuffed those boxes into games that simply didn't need them. Can anyone argue that Shadow of War needed loot boxes, or Forza, or Need for Speed, or PUBG? They didn't need them.
I'll stop talking about loot boxes. I'll stop talking about game industry bollocks when the game industry stops fucking doing it, alright?